The town of Red Creek was the kind of place where dust clung to your boots and secrets clung to your name. Everyone knew everyone, and everyone knew her. Clara Whitmore kept her head down as she walked along the wooden boardwalk, her hands clutching the basket she had just filled at the general store. She could feel the stares, the whispers that always followed her. "She's the one," someone muttered. "The poor girl," another replied. Clara pretended not to hear. She had learned long ago that silence was her only shield. It had happened 2 months ago. A man she trusted, a charming ranch hand named Earl, had cornered her behind the barn after a town dance. She had been nervous but happy that night, her heart full of innocent hope. Earl had smiled at her, his voice smooth, his eyes warm. But then his hands had grabbed her face too suddenly. Before she could understand, before she could breathe, his lips had crushed against hers. She hadn't wanted it. She had frozen in shock, her heart pounding with fear instead of joy. When he pulled away, he only smirked, as if he had taken something he had every right to claim. She ran home that night, her lips burning, her chest aching with confusion and shame. Since then, she avoided everyone, especially men, especially cowboys. But fate had other plans. It was late afternoon when her basket slipped from her hands outside the stable. Apples rolled across the dirt road. "Oh," she gasped, dropping to her knees. A pair of worn boots stepped into her view. "Easy there," a deep voice said gently. She froze. Slowly, she looked up. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with sun-weathered skin and calm gray eyes. His hat cast a shadow across his face. But there was something in his expression she hadn't seen in a long time. Kindness. He crouched down and picked up one of the apples, brushing the dust off carefully before placing it back into her basket. "You all right, miss?" he asked softly. Clara nodded quickly, unable to speak. He didn't move closer, didn't touch her. That alone made her look at him again. "My name's Daniel," he said. "Just got into town." She swallowed. "Clara?" He smiled. But it wasn't the kind of smile that demanded anything. It was patient. Days passed, and she began to see him often. He worked at the far ranch, always respectful, always keeping his distance. He never forced conversation, never made her feel small. One evening, as the sun melted into gold behind the hills, she stood near the fence watching the horses. Daniel stood beside her, silent as always. "You don't have to be afraid of me," he said quietly. Her chest tightened. "I know," she whispered. He turned to face her, his eyes searching hers, not taking, but asking. Slowly, carefully, he reached for her hand. His fingers stopped just short of touching hers. She realized then. He was waiting for permission. Her heart pounded, but this time it wasn't fear. It was choice. She let her fingers rest against his.